Fairview, Oregon, a small wooded town tucked quietly along the edge of the Columbia River, the kind of place where people left their keys in their cars and waved at strangers. In April of 2016, that illusion of safety would be shattered by the disappearance of one woman, and the man who may have been the last to see her alive. This is the story of Sarah Whitmore, a 27-year-old elementary school teacher, dog lover, and beloved daughter. On April 17th, she vanished from her home without a trace. What followed was a mystery that baffled investigators, shook a community, and left behind only one clue: a grainy image of a man in a red hoodie. April 16th, 2016. Sarah spent her Saturday grading papers at a local cafe and texting her sister about the baby shower planned for the next day. She was excited, cheerful, and making plans to bring deviled eggs. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. That night, she returned to her single-story house on Pineview Lane around 8:40 p.m. Neighbors reported seeing her walking her golden retriever Max at 9:15. It would be the last confirmed sighting of Sarah Whitmore. The next morning, she didn't show up to the baby shower. Calls went unanswered, texts were read but never replied to. Concerned, her mother drove to the house that evening. The porch light was on. Max was barking from inside. Sarah's car was parked in the driveway, but no one answered the door. At 11:42 p.m., Sarah's neighbor, Janet Wells, called 911. Officers arrived shortly after midnight. They entered the home through an unlocked side door. Inside, the house appeared undisturbed. Her keys, phone, and purse were on the kitchen counter. There were no signs of forced entry. Her bed hadn't been slept in. Max was still inside, anxious and pacing. Sarah was gone. Police searched the surrounding woods, canvassed the neighborhood, and issued a statewide missing person alert. But there were no leads, until they reviewed security footage from the gas station 3 blocks away. At 2:43 a.m. on April 17th, a figure appeared on a grainy camera feed. A tall person in a red hoodie, carrying what appeared to be a large duffel bag or bundle. The figure walked quickly, head down, moving south, away from Sarah's home. The footage was dark, low resolution, and gave no clear view of the person's face. But the timing was chilling. The problem: no one in Sarah's life owned a red hoodie, and no one recognized the figure. For months, detectives chased dead ends. They interviewed ex-boyfriends, co-workers, and friends. Sarah had no enemies, no known mental health issues, no signs she had left voluntarily. A tip from a store clerk led to a local man, Kyle Mendel, who was seen wearing a red hoodie days after Sarah's disappearance. He had a criminal record, minor assaults and drug charges. But when questioned, he had an alibi. He was working an overnight shift at a warehouse. Security footage confirmed it. The case grew cold. Each year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, Sarah's family held a vigil. Her parents kept the porch light on every night, and the red hoodie image became a haunting symbol across the town. 4.5 years later, in October 2020, a construction crew unearthed a sealed plastic container buried in a wooded lot just outside Fairview. Inside were women's clothing, a rusted locket, and human remains wrapped in tarp. Dental records confirmed the identity: Sarah Whitmore. It was a discovery that reopened the case and public interest. Nearby trail cameras revealed that the lot had been visited multiple times in late 2016 and 2017 by someone riding a black bike with a green milk crate attached to the back. Detectives traced the bike pattern and eventually found it in a shed behind a mobile home belonging to a man named Dean Travers. Dean had lived only 2 blocks from Sarah at the time of her disappearance. He was quiet, kept to himself, had no criminal record. But in his shed, they found something else: a red hoodie, bloodstained, hidden beneath tarps, still intact. Dean Travers was arrested on November 3, 2020. Under questioning, he initially denied everything, but when confronted with the hoodie and the fact that Sarah's blood was found on it, his story changed. He confessed that he had met Sarah months earlier at a dog park. She had been kind to him, talked to him, treated him like a person, but in his words, she stopped saying hi. On April 16th, he had followed her home, watched her from the trees, and sometime after midnight, he entered her house through the unlocked back door. He claimed he just wanted to talk. What happened next was violent. He killed her. He placed her body in a duffel bag. He walked south, down the street, captured in that grainy video, and he buried her outside of town. Dean Travers was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. At the trial, Sarah's mother read a letter she had written every year on Sarah's birthday since she vanished. In the courtroom, there wasn't a dry eye. Fairview, Oregon, changed after Sarah. Homes got security cameras, porch lights stayed on longer, and the school where Sarah taught built a memorial garden in her honor. To this day, people still talk about the image, the man in the red hoodie, not just because of what he did, but because for years, he walked among them, hidden in plain sight. This has been The Man in the Red Hoodie, a story of loss, of community, of justice, delayed but not denied.